So where did God come from? No one knows. I mean, the best answer I keep hearing is that he has always been around. But as a prophet who has spoken to God on this occasion, on this matter, I asked, where did he come from? Where did you come from? And so he gave me some details about where he came from and basically where divine beings as a genus came from, as they are a genus. They're not a species, they're a genus. So before there were divine beings, there were primordial essences. And these are basically formless, like storms that are 3 miles wide, 3 miles long, and they have this multicolored lightning bolts shooting out of them. And that's about as much information as I could get. The rest of it is quite literally unimaginable. And so these primordial essences created the first 4 dimensions. Now there's more dimensions in existence, but initially it started out with 4. The divine dimension, which is the 3rd dimension. The 4th dimension, which is heaven. The physical dimension, the 1st dimension, that's our current location. And then the 5th dimension, which is hell, a place of punishment. And so these primordial essences then agreed that they must create a genus that is equal to them in power and have these beings create domains called universes, and they can do whatever they feel is right within that universe. And so what they started doing is they started going at regular intervals, not random, but regular, creating 100 divine beings, 50 gods, 50 goddesses. And then this primordial essence told these divine beings to do the same, create 100 divine beings of the same spread, 50 male, 50 female, and to repeat this process. This is so they can cover as much ground in the 3rd dimension as possible, because the 3rd dimension is quite literally infinite in all directions. And when the primordial essence was done giving those instructions to the first 100 divine beings, it moved on. So we come down now to the point to where there is enough dimensional space to begin a universe. This process of each divine being creating 100 of their own got down to where our universe is. We'll just start there at this point. Enough dimensional space to create a universe. So there was a god named Haggoth, Lord Haggoth, who was created by another god. That god who created Haggoth went to go start a universe next to ours. I don't know what direction it is, but it is quite literally next to ours. And Haggoth was instructed to create 99 divine beings. So you'll have 49 males plus Haggoth to make 50, and then the 50 females. And so they entered into a discussion after Haggoth created these divine beings as to who would be the Most High God. Each divine being was allowed to share what the universe would look like and what role the divine would play in that universe. So this conversation did not take long. I imagine that what they feel is long is much longer than, or much shorter than what we would perceive to be long. And a god by the name of Jehovah, Lord Jehovah, had the best ideas about what the universe would look like and what the role of the deities would play. And we can see this right before us. For example, God said we would have sentient races that can think for themselves, and that these sentient races would enter into a relationship with the deity through the institution of organized religion. And they would work on a vocation that would get them back into heaven, therefore justifying the existence of these sentient races. And also each divine being would be given their own religion, a standalone religion. Okay? Now there were other things that were talked about, but I will save that for another conversation for another day. And so after God gave his beliefs about what the universe would look like and what the divine beings would be doing, and everyone else had their turn to share their ideas, it was agreed upon unanimously that Jehovah had the best ideas. And so that is when he was declared the Most High God of this universe. And so there you have it. That is where God came from and how he got to be the Most High. And this appointment is eternal. He will never be taken off the throne unless he himself became evil. And really, from the divine perspective, we've been around long enough, from what I've been told, to where God is not considered, he can't be evil. He's not shown any signs of having an evil nature about him. Now, of course, some people would disagree, but they're free to do so. But there you have it. That is the origins of God. It's quite simple, but to me, it's quite profound. And so let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, you want me to go into further detail, and let me know.